A few years ago, some people tried to destroy my family. They attacked my father's reputation, they attacked my mother's reputation, and they attacked the World Wrestling Federation. They tried to rip us apart, but all they did was make my family stronger. And that's how America feels right now, because on Tuesday, America was attacked. But America is a united nation, and together we stand strong. I'm incredibly proud to be an American citizen, and I will stand up for my rights and my freedoms. Stephanie McMahon on the post 9/11 SmackDown. 2 fucking days after the lives of thousands of Americans were ended in a terrible American tragedy, and she compared it to the steroid trials that her family went through. She compared the steroid trials that sure may have been troubling for her family to the deaths and tragedies that befell so many Americans. But oh yeah, apples and fucking apples right there. No, it's apples and goddamn space milk. I don't know what the fuck it is. Stephanie McMahon, oh, she's had her head up her goddamn ass for a while, hasn't she? Hey, you want another example of Stephanie thinking she can get away with saying any goddamn thing? Let's flash forward 15 years later, almost, well, actually about 14 years later. Philanthropy is the future of marketing. It's the way brands are going to win. Stephanie on Twitter, March 28, 2015. Here we go. I'm John Rant with my review of WWE Evil, Episode 6, Stephanie McMahon. I have made no secret that I am not a fan of Stephanie McMahon. I think she is basically the worst qualities of her dad, and really an evil, goddamn vindictive bitch. Maybe she's a good mother, I don't know. I'm not going to really target her kids, but she doesn't really have any good creative ideas, and she basically is just piggybacked off of being her dad's daughter. Am I saying that she's the worst person to ever be involved in wrestling? No. And sure, people can be forgiven for things they said in their goddamn youth, but again, she compared the steroid trials to the deaths and, tragedies that befell so many Americans. That is fucking bullshit. I don't care how young you are. If you can't recognize there's a time and a fucking place, she deserved to be slapped by every person that lost somebody during the tragedies. Now, does she feel bad for it? I'm sure she does. Has she I don't know if she's addressed it. I don't really care, because the words are still there, and no matter how much WWE tries to whitewash the whole goddamn thing, I don't think a lot of people really believe that Stephanie McMahon is a good person. Is she the only bad person in wrestling? No. No, she's not. Now, that stuff aside, this episode was a fucking mess. It went from talking about Stephanie getting into the wrestling business and everything to all the McMahon family drama. This easily could have just been a two-parter, and you could have maybe focused on Shane, and you could have focused on Vince. You could have focused on Linda, the left or the right eye. Which one's the evil eye? Which one's giving the evil eye, as it were? But, look, I'm not saying that Stephanie hasn't had to work hard to get where she is. I'm not saying that she didn't have to have an education. But there's no way. There's no fucking way I'm going to give her credit for basically taking her dad's persona and twisting it around and making it just a little bit more evil, because at least Vince allowed himself to get his comeuppance. Sure, Stephanie would eventually do that, but it took forever, to the point where, yay, it happened. Just saying. So, my character is the spoiled rich girl. So, her running people down, never gained her comeuppance when she should have. Yeah, sure, you have the Ronda Rousey mixed tag match. That was pretty good. And there were times she would get stuff either dumped on her or humiliated. But the match with, like, Brie Bella, did anybody really need that match to go 15 pissing fucking minutes? No. Early days of wrestling, being scared by Georgie Animal Steel and the Philadelphia Spectrum, and her dad laughing because, he's just a character. It's such good shit, pal. And how she studied how people acted, and I've learned it a lot quicker and faster than others. Sure you have. Look at Stephanie McMahon's early days. Like, she was pretty goddamn rough. Like, she got a little better teaming up with Triple H in more ways than one, but let's be perfectly honest, her early days were super fucking rough. There are a few that get it right away, but let's not act like Stephanie didn't have to go through a lot of trials and tribulations on screen, to basically get halfway decent on the mic. So, we had clips of Vince as the evil boss, and she never saw herself as part of the company. And in a 1999 meeting in the writer's room, "Where to, Stephanie? Dad!" It's a great moment. The Black Wedding on April 4th, or April 26th, rather, 1999. The same night, by the way, that DDP lost the WCW Championship and won it back in the same night on Nitro. And then Austin saves Stephanie from the Black Wedding, and then he's battling Taker, and I always get a kick out of this. Taker just is battling, and then says, "Fuck it, I'm done." He just leaves. He just says, leaves. I don't know why that makes me laugh so much. It just does. And "It's me, Austin. It was me all along, Austin." And how Vince brought the dark side out of Stephanie. Haha, sure he did. It was always fucking there, and they were just looking for an excuse to put it up. And Triple H and Stephanie had the Vegas wedding and everything, and it turns out that at Armageddon 99 it was a ruse, and Stephanie was in on the whole thing, and the McMahon-Helmsley regime. Who the hell is Evan Mack? Who is he? I don't know who he is. It was one of the biggest shocks in wrestling history. Fucking no, it wasn't. Anybody with two working eyeballs could have seen that coming. I mean, I'm not even saying him. Who did not see Stephanie turning on Vince? Who did not see Vince getting this kind of stuff because he'd been so goddamn evil? So, yeah, the McMahon-Helmsley regime. They blew over Stephanie being head of creative and it going into a fucking creative quagmire giggity because Stephanie doesn't really have a lot of good ideas. She has to listen to other people. Heyman brings up a good line here in a little bit. They'll talk about. Peter Rosenberg, I think it was Rosenberg, said that she's an amazing character because she's very charismatic. Not really. Not really. She's not really that charismatic. So, wrestling training was tough, and I'm sure it was. In all honesty, this is where I'm going to be fair. I'm sure the training was tough because it is like hitting a goddamn wall whenever you take a bump. It's got to be difficult. You got to train your body to do it. Her first match, she beats Jacqueline. Thank you very much, Derb. I will never be able to say that name, Jacqueline, the correct way the first time. She gets a lot of help to win the title. She holds it for a number of days. I think like 100 or so days. Lita beats her then eventually. And they skipped over the invasion angle, at least at first they did. The GM role for SmackDown in July of 2002. One thing that I think that it could have touched on was her match with Trish at No Way Out 2001. That was far better than it had any right to be. It was not a technical classic, but they took it seriously. Trish still was not nearly the performer she would be even a year afterwards. And Stephanie did way better than I thought she possibly ever could. Again, not a classic, but good. Good for what it was. And Shane calls her the Vincess, which actually is kind of appropriate because she basically is a more evil version of Vince. There's a danger in working with Stephanie. Heyman would know that, considering he was a part of SmackDown Creative and he wanted some really, really good ideas to be put out there, and he had to butt heads with Stephanie because Stephanie doesn't understand the wrestling business at all. She doesn't. I'm sorry, she doesn't. I have not really seen a lot of good Stephanie McMahon segments where it's not just the same recycled stuff. We get a montage of her slapping more people. That slap is no joke, says Shane, and he would know since he got slapped. And I'm sure it does hurt because she lays it in. And then she hit Linda, and then she had the north, south, east, and west vision. One eye went this way, one eye went the other way. So, Triple H and Stephanie, they got together. Blew over the whole fact that Triple H was with China at the time, but I'm not surprised they blew through that. And then, the Authority. Oh God, the fucking memories I'm getting from the goddamn Authority. It was so goddamn bullshit and ridiculous, and nobody liked the Authority. At first, I guess it actually wasn't all that bad, but the Authority was shit. Vince looks really, really old. Why is Dr. Phil here? All the McMahon family drama. It got to the point, Shane even said, well, people still want to see us. Now, they got past that a while ago. Now, don't get me wrong. At first, Shane coming back was great. He got a huge reaction. And then, how Stephanie says it's hard to be a woman in a male-dominated world. I'm sure it is. Stephanie ain't a great example of that, though. I'm just saying. And I can't with this. I just fucking can't with this. Is Stephanie McMahon evil? Well, she is a McMahon. That's the closing line there. Look, all kidding aside, sure, Stephanie has been in the company for a while, and she will be in the company for a while. Her and Triple H will not take over the goddamn thing because of Triple H's health, and also the fact Nick Khan is probably going to be controlling the thing soon. So yeah, that's all I got to say right there. Go back and listen to the beginning of it if you want to hear exactly how I feel about Stephanie McMahon. So I open myself and I open the floor to people getting upset. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.